Hey, fourth grade, it's Miss Johnston, and I'm going to be walking you through a research project. We're going to do something with biographies together, and we're going to use a Google Slides file to help us collect all of the information we find on the person we choose. And then after working on our file for a couple of days, we will turn that into a written 4-paragraph paper for Mrs. Baker and Mrs. Seaman. So we're going to start off looking at the Google slide together that you'll use for this project. Let me shrink myself down here in the corner. When you go to your Google Classroom, you're going to see a file that's called Biography Research Project. This is the Google slide file that we're going to use to put in the data that we collect on our person. So first you need to be thinking of who you want to write about. So think about your interests, or think about even maybe you already have a person you know that you've always thought was fascinating and you want to learn more about them. But if you're a sports person, you might pick a sports player. If you're more into science, you could choose a scientist. If you love to read, you might choose an author that you enjoy reading books by, just whatever comes to mind. But think of a person that you want to delve into their life and spend the next couple of weeks reading about and writing about. Once you have that person, you're going to be ready to do today's assignment. So for Tuesday, I want you to pick your person and complete slides 1 and 2 of this project piece. Slide 1 is super easy. You're looking at it right here, and the only thing you have to do is click by this word by, and you're going to put in your name. You might try spelling it correctly. Don't mess up like Miss Johnston. But you're going to put your name in there, and that's it. So you already have slide 1 done. Slide 2 is going to take a little more work and a little more thinking. Slide 2 is going to become the first paragraph of your paper, that introduction piece. So this is where you're going to collect your information and take your notes. So complete sentences are not required yet. We just simply want to get some notes down about your person. And also remember, we need to put this stuff in our own words. We can't just cut and paste information from the internet, or else we are plagiarizing, which is a word for stealing. It means we're stealing another author's work, and we can't do that. Now, obviously, some things we can't put in our own words. We have to put the person's real name. We have to put their real date of birth. But later in the other slides, we're going to want to make sure we put stuff in our own words. So slide 2, here we go. We want to start off pretty simple. The name of the person that you chose to research. And I'm going to research this fascinating person. Her name is Barbie Johnston. So I'm going to put her name right there. When I find out when she was born, then I will fill in this next box, and you simply click the box and type it in there. And when you're ready, you just click the next box and put in the next piece of information. So I wasn't actually born in Little Rock. I was born in Pocahontas, Arkansas. My mom and dad had gone to see her parents and when my mom went into labor. So anyways, now, the last one, think about why you chose this person. What are they famous for? What have they done? What have they accomplished? Now, Miss Johnston has taught school for 23 years. It might be 24. So that's one thing she's famous for. Now again, notice I didn't write a complete sentence. I'm just making some notes here. Now I might want to put a couple of things because we don't really know where our paper's going yet and what information we might need later. So if I want to put something else in here, I just have to hit that enter or return button and my box goes down to give me more room. So let's see. She has 3 degrees. There you go. So that's something else I'm famous for. We're going to use that. So this is going to be the information we use in our introduction later when we start the writing process. Now this would be all you'd have to get done for Tuesday's assignment. Picking your person, writing your name on slide 1, and then doing this first slide for our introductory piece, which is actually slide 2, this first bit of research. In a minute, I'm going to show you how to use the World Book Online to find this information. But one last thing that I have to do is come down to slide 6 and tell where I found this information on that World Book Online. And when we see that other video in a minute, this will make more sense. So we would need to put that we went to World Book Online. That's the name of the site we went to. When we pull up the person we're researching, they will have an article name. So maybe the name of the article was all about Mrs. Johnston. And then there should be an author, and I'll show you how to find this author when we get to that next video. And we're going to pretend that it was written by Ellen Johnston, because her husband should know a lot about her. But we always want to make sure we note who or what our source was for the information we gathered. We call this a citation. So we're citing our sources because we're saying that we didn't write this all on our own. We didn't know this about this person. We went somewhere else and used someone else's work to help us do our work. Now, Thursday when you come back, you're going to do slides 3 and 4. So let's look at those real fast. Slide 3 is going to help you write your first full paragraph in your paper. So you have your introduction, and then this would be paragraph 1. And again, we don't need complete sentences. Just kind of bullet format will work. So I've already set you up with your first bullet, and when you hit enter or return in a minute, it will give you your next bullet automatically. We want this slide to be about your famous person's family life. You can think about when they were little and the family they had, and then as an adult, what their family was like. So I could start off putting that Miss Johnston, was raised in Little Rock. She has 2 sisters and 1 brother. And then I can go on to her adult family life. She's married to Alan Johnston, has 2 children, Emma and Ian. You're going to need enough information here that you can write 3 good sentences for your first paragraph about your person's family life. So if you need more, then you may keep going. Hit that return button and add some more information about maybe they live somewhere else now than when they did when they were little. Maybe they moved a lot. Maybe their parents passed away early in their life, or they adopted a child. I don't know what all it could be, but just anything that you could put there about the family's, that person's life as a family will go in the first paragraph. And then also for Thursday, we want you to do slide 4, and this will become your second big paragraph about your person. And here's where we want to know about your person's fame. Why are they famous? What did they do that was so great? What did they accomplish in their life that makes them a fascinating person that we want to read about them? We want you to look for 3 different things that support this fame, that explains what they did, tells why they're so important. This should tie together with that second slide at the bottom where you said what they're famous for. So everything I write in my 4th slide should have to do with teaching for 23 years and having 3 degrees, because now we're supporting why we originally said in the introduction they were famous. So, again, bullet format, doesn't have to be complete sentences. She has a degree in childhood education, of course. That's what allows me to be a teacher. And then I have a master's degree in counseling for kindergarten through 12th grade. And then I have a master's degree in administration for K-8. So that's all going back to where I said that Mrs. Johnston was famous because she had 3 degrees. And then I said that I had taught for 23 years. So I could tell the different grades, taught first, taught third, taught sixth. This is going out of order because I'm going in the order that I taught it. Second. Those are the grade levels that I taught. And then, of course, I could include that I worked in a K-6 building with counseling. And now I work with pre-K through 8th graders in the Media Center. So I could go on and add information, again, just by hitting that return button and getting a new bullet under there. Now, of course, at the end of today, I need to go back to slide 6 and put here if I used a different site. So this time I may still have been in World Book Online, but maybe I went to World Book Student. and then I used the article Miss Johnston's Career, and this was written by Ian Johnston. So I've used that same format to write my sources down. If I had gone back to this very same article that I used yesterday or Tuesday, then I would not have to write it again. You only need to add a new line to your citations if you went to a new article on that online source. And again, I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Next week, you will come back and finish up with slide 5. And this is going to turn into your closing when we begin our writing. So the final thing you need to look up is the information that tells about your person today. If they have passed away, then maybe find the information, of course, of when they died, and if you could, how they died, because a lot of people like to know that. But if they're still living, you could tell what they're doing today and where they're living today, because that could be different from earlier. So Miss Johnston is still alive, so she is living in Little Rock. And what am I doing? Teaching in the Media Center at Holy Souls School. Okay, and then the last piece doesn't come from your research. This is going to be from your head, your own thoughts. How does this person inspire you? So think back to why you chose this person. What about them inspires you? What made you want to write about this person? Maybe they inspired you in your sports, in your academics, just in your future careers, or what you enjoy doing now, but put something there. So maybe I would like, oh goodness, to be a teacher one day. So that would be why that person inspired me. And again, on this assignment day, after you complete this first part where you had to go find this research, you're going to want to come back to slide 6. And if you found out about their death or what they're doing today in one of these articles that you've already posted here, you don't have to add anything else. But if you went to a new article to get that information, then you need to add a new line to your citation. And that would complete your research gathering, and then we will start the writing part next using this slide file. So I think that finishes us up. Go to the next video so that I can walk you through the online website source that I want you to use for this project.